Ever feel like you're waiting for a lightning bolt moment to just change your life? Well, here's the harsh truth. Big transformations don't come from a giant leap. They're really just built within the small habits that you include in your daily life that will create that super big change you're looking for. Studies have actually told us that according to researchers at Duke University, about 40 to 45% of our daily behaviors are in fact habits and not conscious decisions. These automatic actions are driven by environmental cues and what's really around us. Welcome to the anatomy of the 1%. Today we're deconstructing the tiny habits that create massive results. Joining us is Shayne, a yoga instructor who specializes in wellness movements of mindfulness, and Heidi, a nutrition expert who knows exactly how one simple change in your diet can progress you to a much healthier version of you, and how healthy routines create healthy outcomes. We're moving past the new year, new me hype to look at the actual science of routine. We'll uncover why your brain resists change and how you can hack your day 1% at a time.
Take a moment to just notice your breath moving in and out of your body. No need to change it or fix it or do anything with it. With meditation, it only takes 3 minutes a day to really start to create changes within the brain. And with breathing, again, it's just a few minutes a day that it only takes. So really, we all have a few minutes a day that we can actually dedicate for ourselves, and that consistency is really the key. And so I will push back on students oftentimes that it is, again, you can dedicate 3 minutes a day for yourself. I would say that you probably spend at least 3 minutes a day scrolling on your phone, looking at TikTok or some other account. So, dedicating that for yourself, setting an alarm for yourself, and really taking that time for yourself says that you are worth it. The great thing is that studies have shown that it only takes about 3 minutes a day of meditation to actually create significant changes in a person's brain. And with breathing, it just takes actually even just a few seconds to actually connect to the parasympathetic nervous system and calm somebody down. It's a lot about consistency, and you want to find the follow through. So if you commit to say, like, I'm going to do 10 air squats every day, and you commit to doing that to yourself, what you find is through that consistency, you might end up doing more, and you start to build on that. If you say, I'm going to do this 1 hour workout twice a week or whatever, you oftentimes you get to that day where you're going to do that hour, and then you're like, oh, I don't have that time today. So that 2 minutes every day is super important to building that consistency. Start small, give yourself those tiny little habits, those tiny little goals of 1 minute, to 5 minutes daily, and find the consistency. And also be willing to get experimental, keep trying. Not every practice is going to fit everybody, and you have to sometimes try different things to see what works best for you. Try different teachers to see which teacher fits your personality the best.
Our brains actually are trained in such a way that we're reacting to our environment. And so, for example, if someone were to have a snack at 3 o'clock every afternoon, just because that's part of what they're doing, it's 3 o'clock, it's automatic. So what we are actually discussing in lecture today is about cognitive restructuring. So we work through with our clients reframing what our brain is telling us using cognitive behavior therapy. So to encourage a student to move forward with the small wins, that it's not so overwhelming, is definitely by doing that. By doing things and achieving short-term goals, we're going to get to the long-term goal. So we actually talk with our clients and encourage our nutrition students to help our clients identify rewards. What is it that you just did that was positive that's going to move you to make that choice again in the future? We also talk about self-efficacy. That helps a person build on their self-confidence of having achieved something that they can do it again in the future. At Sherman Park Grocery Store in our community with the Milwaukee Area Technical College nutrition and dietetic technician and dietary manager students. So they're preparing a couple of recipes for community members this afternoon, and they'll be making a soup and a salad for them, and we're excited to be here. And again, I teach my students to make sure that they recognize that we want to work with where the person is at. So you want to start with, what is your goal? What is your hope? And if there's just some small thing that they recognize that they're willing to change that can move them into a positive way with their healthful food choices, that's what you start with. Because at the end of the day, if the person isn't willing to do that small change, we're not going to see those long-term changes in healthful food choices. So something very small, something that's coming from inside of a person, and actually I would dig a little bit deeper with more questions of that person to recognize what is it that they want and why are they thinking of considering changing the food choices that they're making, because that helps us to identify that internal motivator. We call it an intrinsic motivator, and then you lean into that to help them move into making those small changes to ultimately improve their diet overall.
And that is the anatomy of the 1%, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Shayne showed us that finding the center starts with just 3 minutes of breath work and wellness movement, while Heidi, on the other hand, really proved to us that a better diet isn't about restriction. It's just about that one better choice that's sitting right in front of you and finding that healthier routine for the healthier outcomes. The takeaway from this, I would say, is just stop looking at the mountain, guys. Look at that next step in front of you, whether it's laying out your yoga mat the night before or simply just swapping out that second coffee for water. These tiny wins, guys, are really what's gonna help you build you to your greatest potential and become the best version of you. You don't need to totally overthink it or overhaul it. You just gotta be 1% better than you were yesterday. Coming up, we're going to be diving into the identity shift to see how your mind is actually the most powerful tool and that you're just not behind. You're simply just starting your journey. Until then, keep it small, keep it consistent, and remember, the small wins always matter. See you next time.